Well, welcome back to the training topic this week. Hannah and I thought we would join you talk a little bit about in this week's topic, inviting guests. And we're in a 4-part series of what I call network value added. Now, most networking groups don't get into anything more than be a giver, be a good person, show up, and you kind of copy everybody else. We want to go a little bit deeper and share the activities or the metrics you could track to know that you're having networking success. And I'm going to have Hannah go over what the 4 are because I can never remember all 4 of them. Go ahead.
Well, the first one and most important is, of course, having those connect meetings, getting to know the people in your referral group. The second one is actually showing up, because we don't know who you are and that you're in their networking group unless you show up 3 out of about 4 times of the month. And then there's inviting guests. We always want you to continue inviting guests to expand everyone's network. And then last but not least is always referring others, which is the whole point of a networking group at all, is referring each other.
Well, it's kind of funny because I almost always have people reach out to me from other networking groups complaining of their group. Mm-hmm. They're like, I never get any referrals. And of course, my first question is always,
how many were you giving?
Yeah, so how many did you give? And they're like, well, you see what happened. So our role in a networking group is to ensure both parties are receptive to a conversation and introduce them in person whenever possible. That's the whole point. So I have in the training top, and I must go ahead and switch over to the training top. We'll kind of go through the worksheet that you could review if you'd like in advance, so you'd be prepared for your networking event. But there's 5 reasons to seek and give quality introductions. You want to go over what the answers are, Hannah? I didn't give you the answers.
You did not give me the answers,
right?
But that's okay. The 5 reasons to seek and give quality introductions is to reduce prospect reluctancy. That's when you actually when you know the 2 people and they have a great relationship with each other, and you can calmly and comfortably introduce that third person to the other person. It's just there's that wall that usually shoots up because they feel like they're in a sales meeting, comes way down, just crumbles down. Mm-hmm. And so they're least reluctant. And they're more receptive and open to the information that's given and to ask the questions that they need to ask without hiding things, which we know a lot of prospects do.
Sure. So this is a funny one because I always ask people, would you rather, and they go, well, how does it lower your reluctance? I don't know. Would you rather call a referral or make a cold call? And I don't know anybody goes, well, I'd rather put my hand in a meat grinder than take a referral. But yeah, so reduce prospecting reluctance, faster time to do business, greater transaction size, enhanced probability. All right, and then you get more introductions. So here's the deal: you get twice as fast to business. They spend twice as much, and they're twice as likely to buy, and they're infinitely more likely to give you even more referrals. So the cycle is self-perpetuating. And then I had a couple of definitions on the worksheet, and here's really what I want to talk to you about: the difference in the if I get my cursor to work, there we go. The difference between what I think an introduction, and you've heard me use that word over and over. I use it interchangeable with a referral, but what does a referral imply? If I'm referring you to somebody, what does it really imply?
That you don't know the person?
I think, or to me, it's the other way around. If I'm giving a reference, it's like if I'm giving somebody a job reference or I'm making a reference or referral to somebody, I'm saying, hey, they're awesome, and I've done a background check, and I've got their DNA, I know everything, I've done a U.S. Marshal search for them or whatever. So to me, it just seems like so much more pressure on a referral than just making an introduction. Kind of like if we were at a picnic or a barbecue or a party and I said, hey, the 2 of you should have a conversation, have some similar interests. Maybe something comes out of it, maybe it doesn't. So I'm network-wide, the industry, I'm trying to get rid of the word referral and just say, hey, let's introduce 2 adults and they can figure out if they can do business or not.
Makes sense.
So you want to go over the 6 guidelines for powerful introductions?
Sure. The first one is always get permission. We don't want to feel like anyone is forced or pressured into doing anything. So just simply asking that question, because we're big on asking questions at Bold, is that something that I can do? Can I introduce you? Can I do this? Can I do that? And always get them to say yes or no. Totally okay to say no. Right? That's always the first option. Second is provide a 30-second commercial of the person you are introducing. That might be helpful so that they can get the idea of why that you're trying to get them into the introduction. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm showing up on a regular basis in my Connect meetings, I get to know the people around the table. I can pretty much say their 30 to 60-second commercial, but I have to show up in order to do that. Make it okay to say no. I just said it a couple seconds ago. That is powerful. That gives them the option. You know, you don't have to build in that secret exit window. I'm giving you the option. Just tell me no, and it won't hurt my feelings. We'll still be friends. Convey details with crystal clear clarity. A lot of you have heard us talk about the mayo. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't want to get too far because that's a whole topic by itself, but I would just say crystal clear understanding. Who's calling who's meeting who, is on Zoom, all the information, and probably even a calendar invite between the three people, spelling out the details, and hey, this is just an initial introduction. And again, it's still totally okay to tell them, no, you don't have to do business. I just want to introduce the two of you.
Especially which Starbucks or Panera that we're meeting at, because I know we all get confused. Oh, the one up north. Well, which one is that?
Sure.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. So that calendar invite's a great idea. Making the introduction in person whenever possible. And I know that can even be done technology-wise too, right? We have Zoom, and everyone's almost getting used to Zoom now. So we can do it through Zoom if we can't go out or meet, or it's a time-sensitive thing and it needs to be in an urgent matter. But always seeing those facial expressions and those micro expressions are powerful. So I definitely do them in person whenever possible, and know your role. Really, if I'm introducing someone to Robert and saying, hey, you guys should meet, I'm not going to try to sell each other on each other. They're adults. They can figure it out on their own, right? My role is to hush and be quiet. Say, hey, I think you guys should meet. You do this, you do that. Figure it out on your own. I've got to go.
Right. So that brings up one of my favorite introductions. Ed McIntyre, who many of you know through the network, introduced me to a business owner. Now, it was after a networking event. We stopped by the business owner's place of business. He was expecting us. And Ed literally said, hey, Joel, this is Robert. Robert, this is Joel. You all should talk. I've got a meeting. I've got to go. And he turned right back around and bolted. It was awesome. And the conversation led to business, and it was really cool. But it was a perfect introduction because Ed didn't try to convince him what you really need, and this is why I think you should talk. He didn't do any of that stuff. Said, hey, you all talk. I'm out. And it really teed things up well. So the whole idea of making introductions is critical to success. I hope that you'll be intentional as you go throughout your week, and maybe even start to track these 4 networking added activities we've talked about: connect meetings, showing up, inviting guests, and then making introductions. I hope you'll track those on a weekly basis and become super, super intentional. Now, the purpose of these training topics is to give you things to talk about during your weekly event. So bring some ideas of your own. What are some ways that you've introduced people that are creative? What things have you done to follow up? I mean, there's nothing more frustrating, I think, than when I give somebody a referral or make an introduction, and then come to find out they never followed up with them at all. I'm like, okay, now you've embarrassed me. So what kind of systems are you using to track those? And hopefully you'll get many more introductions that you can make. Hannah, what else do you have to add, if anything?
Nothing, just to make it seamless, really. I know that's not something that we're taught how to do, is to make those introductions comfortable for everybody, but the more you do it, the more it's easier. And that's the whole point why we're in networking groups, right? And I know it's so much easier to shoot a text with a name and a phone number, or shoot an email. And sometimes it is beneficial, you know, when you ask the permission, the first step, can I introduce you guys? If that person says no, email is best, then great, do what's best for the person you're referring to.
I like that.
But being on top of it and making sure there's follow-up there is super, super important. And it takes little to no time.
Cool. Well, I have a question for you as we wrap up the training topic. How many face-to-face introductions with your ideal prospects would you need in order to be successful in your business? Like, literally, how many people you have to get walked in like Ed did with me and say, hey, the two of you should talk? I think the success rate that I've personally experienced from face-to-face introduction is nearly 100% conversion to clients. So my question to you is, how many of those would you need? And if you want more of them, well, guess what you do? Go make more of them. Really kind of simple. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the topic this week. We look forward to many, many more training topics come and lots of introductions. Have a good week.